Fashion Dolls. It is Wednesday, October 29th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. We have one more day left until my birthday, and tomorrow is my 900th episode with El Dico Mile, and I'm super excited, Fashion Dolls. Two huge milestones we are coming upon. My very special guest today is no stranger to the dollhouse, and he is back for our sixth or seventh interview. We've done so many in the past. He is back, and he is here to catch up with me on what he's been working on and so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back to the dollhouse, Will Preston. And there we are. One more day, just one more day to my 32nd birthday. And I'm so excited. So y'all, make sure y'all stay tuned. As we're waiting on Will, as we're waiting on everybody to come in, I hope you all are doing as awesome as I am. It is Wednesday. It seems like this week flew by so fast. As we're waiting on Will, There we are. There we go. Let me back up a little bit. There we go. Much better. Much better. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? I just sent him the live. Come on. Welcome as you're just coming in. Again, one more day until my 32nd birthday. Make sure y'all tune in. This Friday, we will be celebrating with Boys Love Flowers. And I'm excited to be celebrating with him my 32nd. And then tomorrow is my 900th interview. So y'all make sure y'all tune in for that as well also. We're waiting on Will, and then we will get this show started. We have so much to catch up on. Fashion Dolls. So without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest back to the dollhouse, Will Preston.
Hey there.
Hello.
I am, must apologize. You know, I'm always prompt, and I was sitting on my other device, and it said that you had sent me the link, but it wouldn't allow me to send it. It kept saying the attachment may have been removed by the person who shared it with you, so I had to run and get another device to join. So I don't know what that was all about, but I'm glad to be here.
And it's so great to have you back, stranger. It's been a minute since we did our last interview. So
It's
how
been
has
a little while.
2025 been for you thus far?
2025 has been great. 2025 has been busy, but it's been a good kind of busy. A good kind of busy. A lot of stuff going on. I'm working on new music. I recently launched my clothing line. So, things have been kind of hectic. And so trying to do all of those things at once. I shouldn't have launched a clothing line in the midst of recording a project, but it happens.
Yes, and it's all coming together, and I've seen some of the pieces which we'll talk into now. What has happened since our last conversation? And our last interview, I want to say, would have been in 2024.
Yeah, 2024. Wow, it's been busy. I've recorded some songs. I've released a couple of just singles. I haven't put out another project since then, but it's one on the way now. The clothing line really took the biggest part of 2024. Had some personal loss in 24. My father passed away, so that was also
Oh,
a very tough time. But dealing with that, and it's just been. 24 was a whirlwind of a year, and it seems now that 25 is almost over, and I can't believe it. I look around and it's like, where has the time gone? But yeah, it's been very productive though. Actually, it's just been grinding and 10 toes down and just making it happen.
Yes, 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 yes. And still going. You're still here. And now the clothing line. So tell us, how did the clothing line come up? Your concept for it, everything. I've seen some of the pieces and they are amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, the clothing line, well, it's called My Best Interest Apparel. And it's something that I've been thinking about for a very long time, actually. And I've just kind of always said, when things slow down just a little bit for me musically, when I stop, recording as much, I would kind of dive into it. And actually, the catalyst for it was when my father passed away, which I felt was prematurely. Although, we all have a day and time and we don't know when it's going to be. But the human in me just felt that it was kind of premature. And I just thought, I don't ever want to leave without pursuing some of these things that I said I really wanted to do. And so that was really the push to just make me go for it and to kind of stop everything that I was working on and just kind of go with the clothing and working to get concepts designed and into manufacturing because and also I think it was really therapeutic for me. I think it was I didn't really feel like doing a lot during that time, but I think that the fact that this was something that his passing pushed me to it. I knew it was something that he would be, proud of and would be encouraging of, and I think that that was really what kind of kept me going. So while a lot of things kind of sat still for a little while, this was the clothing line was one thing that continued to move forward and gain motion. So it was therapeutic and it was it kept me busy and yeah. But my best interest is really just born out of the idea of we always want to be of service to people and we want to, do well by others. But I always feel and have always felt that, you have to take care of yourself first. And I don't look at it as a selfish slogan. I just feel like, we all have to live every day in our best interest, which also includes looking out for other people. So really, that's what my best interest is all about. And first, we launched a hoodie collection, two hoodie collections. We launched one line called The Weekender, and then it was another line called After Hours. And then recently we launched a graphic tee line. It's called the Prologue Series. And the whole campaign behind that was because every great story starts with a statement. And so the tees, like one of them says, I'm my best interest. The other says, addicted to my best interest. And then we have another that says, luxury is my best interest. And so we'll continue to expand, but that's where we are right now.
And it's more and more to come. And when you make this, just like with your music, you made it with love. So when I
Yeah.
seen the peoples, because we didn't get a chance to talk, it's been so long.
Right.
Uh,
And
I
you
said,
stay so busy.
yes, yes,
Which
and
is a
I have.
good thing because I know that we had maybe a couple of dates that we were trying to work on in the past, and I know Mickey was working with you, but I was like, Miss Stevie is doing her thing. She'll catch up with us.
And it's been so much going on. Like even next month, you guys, November 28th, the day after Thanksgiving, I will be going on Faith is the Substances
Awesome.
show. So I'm looking forward to that and a lot more to come even in the future for me here in this platform. Plus, we're at my 20th season, which will be in 2026. Tomorrow will be my 900th episode and
Yeah.
interview, and a lot more to come. So
And
I'm
isn't your
looking
birthday
forward.
this week?
Yes, and my 32nd birthday is Friday, so I decided,
Okay. So happy early birthday.
and I appreciate it. I totally do. And speaking of singing, just like with your music, you put love into this collection, the interest collection, and people wearing these pieces, they can look down and they can have some sort of piece of you. And that's key and
Yeah.
crucial. We were going to definitely do an interview, but like you said, our schedules have both been crazy.
Yeah.
So, Mick, like, when can we do it? When can we do it? I know I've been all over the place on other people's platforms as well, too. So,
Well, I
definitely.
understand the timing always finds us, and so we're never too far away. This is I've been on here maybe four times now, three or four at least, so over the past 4 years. So, but yeah, so the thing with the My Best Interest also is that I didn't want to just create tees. I mean, I didn't just want to be an urban wear, just, throw some tees together, print on demand kind of thing. I wanted it to really be more like a custom, pieces that are sourced, things that I actually design, work with the team, and to have real quality and luxury aspects to the products because I want it to be a reflection of me. I want it to be a reflection of even my music, or an extension at least of my music. And, people who know me know I like to do things at a certain level in a certain way. And I think that that really had to transition into the clothing as well. I mean, so we made sure that these are really top of the line fabrics. I mean, they have some of the tees have like puff print. We have a lot of detailing in the hoodies. So we have like gunmetal drawstring caps. We have engraved island. I'm actually wearing one of the hoodies right now. So this is the Sahara taupe. But like, we just put design pieces into like the little things, like the gunmetal tips. And then these things here are actually engraved with my best interests. And it's 100% French terry cotton. And, so I knew that, with what I was trying to put in it, it wasn't going to be um, a $20 hoodie. So, but at the same time, I recognize that people who do support the brand are not supporting it just because it's me. Hopefully, they're supporting it because they will find quality in it, and it rivals. My favorite brand of hoodies has always been Boss. Like I love Hugo Boss and Psycho Buddy. So if I had that same notoriety as they did, I could put my stuff right alongside theirs in a Macy's or a Bloomingdale's, and I feel like it would do well. So that's kind of what, I made it a point to deliver that type of quality to people.
Absolutely. And you have another artist in here. Shout outs to J Lamb. J Lamb says, love that. Putting that kind of time and energy always comes back. Yes,
Awesome.
it's a firm believer. What you put out there in the universe, it will come back full circle. And that's beautiful.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Yeah. I had my setup for you already, Miss Stevie, because I was going to show you the shirts and it was easier on my other thing, but I can show you what just some of can you see this? Let me turn this around a little bit. So
Oh,
this is like I'll just show you the latest line of tees. And so this is it's called the Prologue series. So as I was saying, so this one says luxury is, and it's like foil print. It's like platinum foil. It's a luxury is my best interest. We have this one is the addicted to my best interest, and this actually is the puff print. So it's really nice. It has nice texture to it, so that feels really good. And the material is nice, and it's like an athletic fit, but it's a premium cotton blend, so it fits well on the body. This one says I'm my best interest, which I think everybody can wear that and support that because again you have to take care of yourself. You have to look out for yourself, and this has also
absolutely.
been a hit during breast cancer month. And I would say all of these are really, unisex. Anyone could wear them. But, if you apply the different themes to different things, so breast cancer survivors or, people who have been through anything that has been, heart wrenching or painful or whatever, I'm my best interest, basically can speak to that. You survived kind of thing. And then this one is just the luxury is my best interest in the black with the gold foil. So yeah, those are the tees, and then we have like I said, the lines of hoodies too. That it's getting cooler again, so people will be looking for
Yes.
something a little warm. So
And we're now into the Christmas holidays and Thanksgiving holidays, which will be right around the corner, right after
can you believe
Halloween.
it?
It's Thanksgiving. It's like the year has flown by so fast.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, and then the stores today put out the next holiday like two holidays ahead, so Costco is one of my favorite stores. So, I go in Costco last month. We haven't even hit, Halloween and they have Christmas trees up and, it's like, let us get through one thing at a time. We haven't even had Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving marks for me, time to transition to Christmas. So it's like the day after Thanksgiving. I'm all for putting up all the Christmas stuff, but at least let me get to Thanksgiving and enjoy my feast. And then we'll talk about, Christmas decorations anyway. We can feel like Christmas all year, but let's put the decorations up just one day after Thanksgiving.
Yes, and Jay Lamb says, I like the chrome white one look on that shirt. It definitely feels luxurious and is still comfortable. The black and gold is cool too, and I love the
Awesome.
intentions. He loves the intentions of it.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Who is that?
And my
What
brother,
was his handle again?
J Lamb, the
Okay.
official J Lamb. And then my brother
Perfect.
K2, host of the K2 spot, said, I'm feeling those shirts. So people love the collections already.
Awesome. 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 Well, I thank you. Tell them all to make sure they connect with me and stay in touch.
Yes, and speaking of connecting and staying in touch, you have your own exclusive place where people can stay in touch and connected with you called the Will Call List. So tell us about
Yeah.
the Will Call List.
So I'm just launching the Will Call List. So it's a subscription service that I'm launching via Instagram. And I do a lot of things that I love to do, even outside of music. But with the music, people always want to see the behind the scenes and stuff like that. And I take a lot of content, and but I just don't always have time to post it, or editing is a beast. And I have people that help me from time to time with certain things, but I just have so much stuff that I'm always doing. And so I thought, what would be a better way to do this than to get people with me and go live and do stuff and show them behind the scene things, show them moments when I'm in the studio, how I write, while I'm writing, while I'm singing. I love to cook, so I often post videos of me in the kitchen, and people will send so many comments. They want the recipes, they want to see how I did it. All types of things, just extensions of who I am, even working with the My Best Interest brand. And I thought, I just want to bring people inside. I want to bring people into the process because, we tend to think I'm just an average guy. I think, I just do this, but it's interesting to people. And if people have an interest in exploring me further, then, I have no problem with that. So, I thought, why not open, my life up a little bit to bring people behind the scenes, especially for all these things that I do love to share, but just never really find the opportunity or the time to really share in that way. And at least with this, I can be intentional about it, and I can, be there to be with those people and to just bring people closer to me who want to be closer to me, and get to know me on a even greater level, as it pertains to all things, especially music and the business and all those things.
Yes, and your fans, your supporters. Like my brother K2 says he's been following you for a while.
Yes, and
So
I recognize that name. So, and that's the thing about it. I'm usually good with the name, so I'll see, and I know who's been riding. I'm one of those people. I'm just always appreciative to, um, Miss Stevie. When I first started music, I had no expectation that I did it just for the love of really what I like to do. And when the first magazine picked up a story about me, I was really floored. And I don't know. I guess for me, it was the love of it. But then when I realized that other people connected to it, that's always been special. So I always appreciate anybody who's, been on the journey, whether they've been on a long time or whether they're just discovering my music. It's just always exciting because I think as a creative, you do it for the love of it, and the true benefit and the extra blessing in it is that it touches somebody else in some way. And you can have 10 different people listen to the same track at the same time, and they walk away with 10 different sentiments and emotions behind it. And so that's the great thing about what we do, even what you do. It's just you touch people, and you don't really realize in the process of how what you're doing actually has an impact on others. So I don't take that lightly.
yes, and there's so many people that are listening, that are watching, that are feeling encouraged just from putting on some of your music, just from your collection of clothing, just from seeing you on. You are a light to people, and people need that in these times to keep us
Thank
centered, to keep us focused and going. And I know a lot of us are looking for inspiration of some sort, and you provide that to them. And we're using our platforms to do it, to encourage people just from that.
Absolutely.
And I think
Yeah.
with the Will Call list, it is great for you guys to stay in touch with Will, to connect with him. With me, the fashion dolls will always DM me stories and ask me, could you talk about this? What do you think about this? And getting my opinion on things. So it's
Right.
always great. If not me, then they'll send it to my colleagues, K Tukes, and K Tukes will forward it on over to me, either or. So
Yeah.
we're always doing that.
What's the
And
craziest thing? I have to share this with you. Slightly off topic, but not really. I met somebody that I met from doing your very first show. I think he came on while we were talking. His name was Ponder the Wander or something like that. But he was a mixologist, like a bartender. And I was
let me
out in
tell you,
Atlanta.
yes.
I was out in Atlanta maybe 3 months ago. And I recognized him because he had come on the show, he had done something. But I was like, I think I've met you on the Miss Stevie show. And he was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was like, I was like, it's crazy how, all these connections and it's really a small world because in a million years, I didn't even know he lived in Atlanta, but I just remembered back to that episode and that day, and maybe he was in the comments or whatever it was, but I recognized his face and he knew exactly who I was. So it's just so interesting.
And that's amazing. And look at that. Jay Lamb
Yeah,
says that's right. Music is a universal language. Everyone speaks music. It just depends on what frequency you're tuned into. And the spiritual
absolutely.
energy is right there.
That's right.
Absolutely. Music
That's right.
is, how can I say it about music? Music is therapy. It is our life. It is our livelihood. We can put on a song, and a song can take us to a certain element or even make us go back in time to a certain time period of
Yes.
our lives. And I think that that is what people need during this time. So even when the pandemic was here, 2020, it was difficult for all of us and for any
Right.
artist to record, but the beauty of it is you're inside. So you mostly put that creative juice to use and you're
Yeah,
writing
you're right.
24/7 or thinking of ideas and concepts. Yeah.
That is so true. And you gotta, I think that was the birth of a lot of creativity for a lot of people came during the COVID years. And a lot of people got in touch with who they really wanted to be or some things that they really wanted to do. And many people haven't looked back since. And so I think a lot of entrepreneurs were birthed out of that. I think we certainly got to hear some really good music out of that time frame from creative people. And, I think it was just, I don't want to say it was a wonderful time, but I think it was a time that definitely sparked a lot of creativity in people across many different spectrums. And so that was we got to look for the bright side of, things that we go through. And I think that that was probably the blessing that came out of that. It brought a lot of people together. It made you check on family more. It made you just be overall a better person, I think is what I found that I've noticed when we went through that whole situation with COVID.
Yes, it was difficult for a lot of us, but how we're doing this interview now was how a lot of things were done. And the beauty of it is communication, being able to communicate with your family members, with your
Yeah.
loved ones, with your friends. People became so creative as far as making sure that they stay in touch with family. I know me and my family, we had a whole messenger chat where we would stay in touch with each other. When my
Yep.
cousin, who we just recently had on the show, she added me to the chat. We were going to do a family reunion, and luckily, we had it, but I wasn't able to make it because it was further out. But we
Okay.
all keep in touch with each other, and that's key and crucial for a lot of us is that you keep in touch with everybody, especially your loved ones.
Yeah. I even had a virtual birthday party during COVID. So I got to see everybody, but we were all one big Zoom call, one big happy birthday celebration.
And people do dinners over Zoom.
Yep.
They have done, like you said, birthday celebrations over Zoom. People have become so creative,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
think that's what's missing now is that human touch, that connection, and how you met Lamonte just from off of the strength of me. I think I was interviewing him or he was co-hosting with me, guest
Right.
co-hosting with
Right.
me,
Hmm.
and just from that alone, small world, you never know who you meet, who the impact, who you run into, and who brings who together.
That's
Yes, a
right.
lot of people did pass during COVID, but one thing I can say that it's taught us was we've never experienced anything like that. Like a lot of things, we had to do them differently. Like it was
Right.
not normal for us. It was completely different. It was like our world was upside down, but it slowed things down. And then as the world opened back up, we
It
still
opened
had
up, but we never really went. But we were forever changed. We were forever changed with COVID. But we become more in line back to normal. But I don't think we'll ever experience what we considered normal. Prior to COVID, will never be our normal again. We operate in a new normal now, and it's okay because that's what happens in life. You shift, you adjust, and you make the necessary changes, and you continue to roll on. So, but I pray that we never go through anything like that again. Those masks got on my nerves.
I still wear mines. I still wear mines. I gotta protect my voice to be able to speak here. Crazy
Yeah,
thing is, folks seemed nicer. Yes, and
they did.
we were careful. We were careful. Everything was slow, and it was very small gatherings, but we kept in touch with one another.
Oh yeah, and
And
I read the comment. It said
oh
someone said some people couldn't even say goodbye, and that's so true. And that's the sad part about it. I lost. Um, I lost a relative during that time, and maybe more than one, but I'm definitely thinking of one that we couldn't even go to his homegoing service. And family couldn't see him while he was in the hospital. It just was, that was definitely a sad reality of what we had to deal with at that time.
my God. And not just that, but the things we were normally used to doing, like going to, if you're a sports fanatic, going to the
Yes.
football games. For me, it was shopping, but we still kept shopping during the pandemic, me and my cousin and my family members, my other family members, my other cousins as well, till we managed to still get together. But of course, the guidelines and everything. But
Right.
everybody distanced. It was very new for all of us. It was like a new world. We never
Definitely.
experienced anything like that.
It was definitely a new world.
Oh, yes. As far as home gatherings and funerals, Daniel, yeah, it was different. It was different
Definitely
even with
different.
that. Even
It
with that.
was. And some people still aren't completely, like you said, you're still wearing your mask, and some people still are leery about going around large crowds. And I think maybe I'm a little more not nonchalant, maybe daring is the word, but the crowds don't bother me really. Um, Traditionally, I'm somebody who just very, very, very rarely gets sick, and that's probably why I just kind of take things for granted and I just roll with it. So the large crowds don't bother me. Friday. I'm actually going to see Monica and Brandy, so I'm excited about that. That's going to be a huge crowd, and I'm not taking a mask. We'll have fun.
It is. It is, Daniel. And one thing, and to Will's point, live life without fear. And that's to anybody. Live life without fear. You only live once, so live it to the
That's it.
fullest and live it without fear and ambition. And that's something that I encourage people a lot of to do is to live without fear. And I even told my mom that just recently. I said, I refuse to live in fear. And I think a lot of us, we take life by the gusto. We now
Hmm.
live in a day and age where everything is catch up. You got to catch up to everything.
Yep,
But one step at a time. And that's how I see it.
that's right.
Oh my goodness. And I think with the will call list, a lot of people, you guys all can take a note from this and create your own outlets. Like me
That's
and
it.
my other friends who are content creators. Of course, K Tukes will text me and call me every now and again, like, hey sis, how you doing? Or just to check in to see if I'm not doing, because I do this show Monday through Friday. I do this platform Monday through Friday. And if I'm not live, the audience, the viewers will know something. Or K Tukes will know something is up and
Yeah.
he will text Paul like, okay, I had a guest scheduled for that day and he will call. You can't even have a toothache, folks. So like, do you have yes.
Don't
Because we were
cough. Don't
scared.
cough because of an allergy issue. Folks, they think you dying. Think you have COVID. They look at you all crazy. I hate when I have to sneeze or if I have to cough in public because the first thing that goes to my mind is these people gonna think I have COVID. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. These folks probably think I have COVID, but I suffer from allergies at certain times of the year.
And this is the year for it. This is the
Yeah,
type of year for it. We're now in the fall months. Pretty soon, December, the months will be getting colder. And of course, it'll last up until January. And then as we get into the summer months, it'll get hotter. So,
what are your thoughts on the flu shot? I'm just curious.
what were you saying?
What are your thoughts on the flu shot? I'm just curious.
I've got my Sunday, and the only thing I experienced was a light headache.
Okay. I get
And
it. I get it every year. But so many people do not get it. So this year took me down just a little bit though for about 3 days. But usually it's never that severe. But they say when you feel whatever these things are, that it means that the shot is really working. So it's doing what it's supposed to do to get to build up the immunity. So, but a lot of people say I'm not taking that because this just makes you sick. But you'll experience a couple of little symptoms here and there. I didn't get the headache, but I had like yeah, slight chills, a little bit of runny nose, stuff like that. But it was bearable and extremely tired. I went to bed at like 6 o'clock in the evening, but I'm recovered.
And you bounce right back. So nothing to
Bounce right
fear.
back. Yeah.
Get it done and you'll be protected for, especially for the months that we're heading into. I took mine and I'm not taking it. Well, I've got my booster already. And I would recommend everybody go ahead and take care of that because we're now going into cold flu months. Now in the summertime, all you got is springtime you got to worry about pollen.
Yes.
That's I can't stand the pollen. Your entire porch, your front yard is covered with the I love flowers. I love flowers, but we know bees go around and pollinate everything. Those little
Mm-hmm.
pink flowers that you see every springtime when it happens, they bud out and the bees start swarming around. I'm like, oh God, this is the worst type of year for me, springtime, because the pollen is on the ground, it's everywhere.
Right.
So we have to go through and rinse everything off. I can't take it anymore. I took it last year and was down for arm swell. Yes, your arm will feel like you stuck it through a spring if you're getting the booster at first, but you bounce back. I would rather be protected and safe than to be sick, you know?
I hear her. I hear what she's saying, but this is my only response to that because I wouldn't want to feel that either. But I used to be the person that would never get a flu shot. I didn't want it, didn't want it, didn't want it. I actually got the flu one year, and I thought that I was on my way somewhere else. I mean, I thought that it was the end for me. Truly, it was that bad. And when I got over that flu, I vowed that if I would do absolutely anything in my power to never experience that again. Now, I think they say it's still a small chance that you get the flu or a different strain, even if you get the vaccine. But so far, so good. And I never want to experience having the flu again. That was the worst experience that I've ever had from a pain perspective in my body. I mean, my bones ached, my body ached. I was sweating for days. I don't want to live that again. I don't want to live that again. So I'm going to take the shot and take whatever residual effects that I get from that for 2 or 3 days versus what I experienced before.
And you bounce right back, y'all. Get you some what is it, emergency, get you some vitamin C and liquid and fluids. You know, they have the IVs, liquid
Yeah.
IVs you can get out here. Boost your immune system up. That's what I would recommend.
People
Boost your
take those
immune
liquid
system.
IVs so they can go out and have a good Friday night at the bar, and then
Yes.
they take those liquid IVs, get them right back on track for Sunday service.
And vitamins. Make sure you get your vitamins as well too, and staying hydrated, drinking lots of water. Drink things that have electrolytes in them that you can build yourself back up, and you'll be back to normal. So that would be my suggestion. Guard yourself during the fall, winter months, and then spring. Like I said, all you have to worry about is that pollen, and then with summer, the heat is a thing. So we know it was one of the hottest summers ever for us, and we seemed like it was never going to cool down. Now things are starting to cool down. So,
That's right.
and Dr. Belinda Ross says, "Hi, Dr. Preston.
Dr. Belinda Ross, one of my favorite people. She is wonderful. I need to give her a call. I haven't talked to her in a while. Thank you for joining.
Welcome as you're coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome as you're coming in. We are here with Will Preston, and we are just catching up because it's been so long. We've already done so many interviews, and we had one scheduled, but our scheduling has been crazy, especially mine's. I mean, I've done several interviews on other platforms, and then, of course, doing this now, going into the 20th season. Tomorrow's my 900th interview and
That's
still
awesome.
going. And then for the 28th, I'll be going on Faith's show on her podcast. So, I mean, it's a lot coming out that I have coming up. Plus,
And that's awesome. I mean, because I remember the earlier days and you just continue to stick with it and your star keeps rising. And it's just been amazing to also just kind of look and see your journey. And of course I still see when you come up, and sometimes I'll peek my head in, even if I got something else going on. I'll go inside your live or definitely catch some of the replays. And I'm like, Miss Stevie is on it. She is still going strong. It's a wonderful thing because you just continue to, get to that next level and the next level. I mean, that's the thing. I think people always ask me, and I'm always hesitant to really give advice about things because I truly feel like everybody's journey is so different. And, people say they have a blueprint to this music thing, but really there's no sure blueprint. But the one thing that I will say is any piece of advice for anybody trying to do anything is the determination and to stick with it. Because one thing's for sure, if you stick with something long enough, you're gonna make something happen. It's the key is just to not
Oh
give up. You just have to keep on going. And that's probably the best piece of advice that I would ever give people because I've never seen people who continue to labor and continue to put their heart and soul into that. I've never not seen it come to fruition, like in some way, shape, or form. And it might be a slower burn than you want, but I guarantee you, you just stick with it. And, things fall into place. But the key is to just, stick with it. That is the advice, honestly, because I can't tell you this is what you have to do. And nobody can really tell you that because everybody's journey is uniquely theirs. But when you're persistent with it, it's gonna work. You're gonna see some traction. You're gonna see some traction.
and dedication is key. I do it 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and doing it every day, getting up in the morning. First thing I do is I exercise. I have to maintain my my mentality, everything. I like to start off with affirmations and prayer and just getting
Yeah,
into exercising and starting my day off. And then boom, Style by
yeah,
Stevie. That's how I stay so rejuvenized because I always come up rejuvenated, not rejuvenized.
yep, yep. I know what you mean.
Rejuvenated
Yeah,
because it takes so much out of you. You have to make sure that you're on top of it 24/7. And thank God for those days that I have a guest scheduled. Like one, I had one scheduled and she had to be on set. And so we pushed it up for this Monday, which was Rashida Randall. So we got to do our interview and it was so much fun. So much fun. This Monday, the 27th, she came on.
mm-hmm.
And she had to be on set the previous week before when we had our interview scheduled. And she was apologizing. I said, girl, don't apologize. I understand you have to be on set, you have to be on call. And that just gave me a little bit of a break. And I needed
Yeah,
that. So we had something scheduled. I was looking forward to it, but at the same time, you know what? God says your body needs rest. Sometimes you
mm-hmm.
have to rest. Listen to your body. And that's what I
Oh
would
yeah,
encourage everybody to do. So don't
absolutely.
overdo it. Don't overdo
Don't
it,
overdo
Rashid.
it. Do not overdo it.
Because you'll wear yourself thin. And that's
You
what
really
I've
will.
also learned is that if you keep going and going and going and going and going, you'll wear yourself thin. And my mother, she even tells me, like, slow down. And now the roles have reversed. Now I'm telling her to slow down because she tries to do what I do, which is multitask and do over a million things.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It's just natural. It's in my nature. It's in my DNA because she's raised me. You know, you got to have balance. And with doing this, making sure that she's good, making sure the family's good, it's a lot. But I still
yeah.
managed to get it done.
Well, I think the key too is one thing you said was just having a routine and making sure that you have something that kicks you into motion. And sometimes that starts with having a standing list of three, four, five things that you do, to get you motivated and to get you going. For me, the first thing I do is read in the morning, then I work out. And then, I make three strategic contacts every day, just making sure I'm doing that, keeping in touch with people, or, it's just certain things that I do to just get my mind ready and focused for the day. And these three things or four things are just non-negotiable. It's like, okay, at least if you get nothing else done today, you've gotten these three or four productive things done. And it really makes you feel good that you don't feel like you're wasting time. You really feel like you're working towards something. And the key is by the time you get through that little list of things, you have the energy and the rejuvenation to really move forward and do other stuff. So it's kind of tricking yourself to really get moving and get going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would also encourage people as well too, when you get up first thing in the morning, make sure that you are doing your, because I do morning devotions. I have my conversation with God. I pray. And then I also do my affirmations. And
Yeah.
I would encourage everybody out here to do that as well too when they get up in the morning, or at least write some down and just go back and read them over and over and over again. And that's what keeps me grounded and encouraged throughout the day. So I would encourage you guys to take a minute, take a minute out of the day, be still and present in the moment before we get up, before you pick up your phone. I know it's so tempting for us to do. I try to sleep with my phone outside of the bed. I don't like it in the bed with me, so I put it out, and anything else, I'll get to it in the morning.
Right.
So definitely separate that too and find the balance. And I know that's right. I do the same thing, sister. Absolutely. And I talk to K Tooks about it all the time. I said, you have to have that balance. And he will even tell me, like, sister, you're doing too much. Like, as in you're juggling too many hats. But I'm like, as being a creative in this business, you have to juggle different things, and that's something
Mhm.
else that I'm looking to tap into in the new year is producing, directing.
Yes.
Of course, I'll
Yeah.
continue to host Style by Stevie, but I would love to step behind the lens as well too. You guys see me in front of the lens hosting and doing this platform, but I would also love to produce, direct, and write. Of course, I write for the magazine that me and Will work for, Original Magazine UK,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Love Hollywood USA, Mick. So writing for that publication, because here's a funny story, y'all. I was supposed to do an article. Mick didn't tell me how many exactly. She said, "Oh no, you just need one." I was gonna do 3 articles in one day. That's how committed I was. She said,
Is
"No,
Mickey? Is she on today? Is Mickey on
is she
here?
on?
Yeah. Is she on?
She will pop up. She will pop
Okay.
up in here.
Yeah.
You're
Mickey is
working on
awesome. She'll keep you busy in a good way.
Yes, for sure. She will say, "I need my article by da 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 da." I'm like, "I'm on it." I call her boss lady. I say, "Boss lady, I'm on it. Say less." And it's therapeutic for me. I'm glad she puts me to work. I said, "Boss lady, keep me busy because I love what I do. I love writing. I love fashion, and I love being able to write about what I love. And then when the issues are done, you are one of the covers." And I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
yes, Will is on the cover." So and
You
then
know, I was going to say when I started working with Mickey, when she became my publicist, and it was a little bit of time had passed, and she came to me one day and she was like, I discovered this wonderful person online, and I think you'd be great to do one of her shows. I'm going to reach out to her. And I said, "Oh, great, wonderful," you know. So she came back and she told me it was Miss Stevie. I said, "I know Miss Stevie." I said, "I'm done, Miss Stevie." I said, "I'd love to go back to Miss Stevie, but I know Miss Stevie." She was like, "You know Miss Stevie?" I said, "Yes, I know Miss Stevie." I said, "I've done her show." So yeah, so I was like, but she was happy to have found that connection, which I thought was great. So Mickey is, she connects me with some wonderful people.
And that just alone, we have a great team. She had no
Mm-hmm.
idea that we already knew each other
Mm-hmm.
per her interview already. We've done so
Right.
many in the beginning. And when I told her too, I was like, "Yes, I know Will." So it was the same thing on my end too. She said, "I've
Yeah.
got an artist now." I said, "Will, as in Will Preston?" I've already interviewed. I know him. I've had him on
Yeah.
my show. And she just laughed. She's like, "How do you know him?" Because we've already done so many interviews together.
Yeah.
So it's like a small world. It's a
It
very
really
small
is. It is. Small connections out here. The world seems so big, but they always say 6 degrees of separation from people. But I've honestly found it to be more like 3 or 4 degrees of separation for people. Like you're gonna find somebody that knows somebody 4 people in that you want to know or wish you knew or want to get to know. I guarantee you, 4 strategic moves, you'll be able to get to that person.
and it's just how fate has brought us all here. The collectively, the magazine, the publication together. It is. And how did I? Okay, a lot of people want to know, how did I meet K Tooks? It was when I did my interview with Dawn Robinson from In Vogue,
Hmm.
and he came in, and he was just like, "Oh, she's cute. She did." At first, it was one of my previous interviews, and we got into it from a friend, and then the Dawn Robinson interview, and then we just clicked afterwards. And we exchanged information. I started following him, and I started checking out his platform. And then we exchanged numbers, and we just kept continuing to talk from there. So we just have that brother-sister relationship
Mm-hmm.
where it's like the panels, the music panels that you guys have seen us do in the past,
Yeah.
that banter, that camaraderie is there. And even with my colleague that I had on the show yesterday, now's the time. Everybody's like, how do you two have such great chemistry together? It's because it was already there. It's the same for me and Will. And what's so crazy is Mick didn't even know that we already knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the same
Right.
thing that she told him, she told me, which was, okay, I have an artist for you. For me, she was like this great host. She was describing me to him, and then she
Mm-hmm.
described him to me
Yeah.
as if this artist, I'm like, well, Preston, I know him. I've interviewed him and others that work for the magazine publication. If it's not Will, then it's Lejon, who's coming on the show. That'll be sometime next year for the new
Yeah.
season. So, I mean, great things are coming. And it's just amazing how God and fate has brought us all together individually. But K2's,
Absolutely.
that right there. At first it was like, okay, is it gonna be rivalry? Is it gonna be tension because of an interview that I did with somebody? And he was just like, oh no, I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her. But just from hearsay, that brought us together. That moment right there brought us together. And I started checking out his interviews, and I
Mm-hmm.
started admiring his interview style. And I'm like, wait a minute, who is this? Because when I did my interview with Dawn, he was like, great interview,
Yeah.
outstanding interview. And he critiqued me, and I was willing to listen. I was very receptive to it. And ever since then, we have that brother sister relationship where he will pick up the phone and he will call me or text me no matter what time it is. It can be 7 o'clock at night, it can be in the morning, whatever. He will find out if I'm okay. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes a great relationship in any business, is making sure that you network with the right people who love and genuinely care. And I told him, I said, brother, yes, I sit back and I observe and I watch your platforms. He was like, you study me? I said, yes, I do. And even with me doing Style by Stevie, I sit back and I observe other people's interview styles and I take notes. I
Yeah.
can't steal their formula, but I can do my own thing. I can
Yeah.
add my own originality to it. And I think that's what draws people to me, and even K-Tooks. And if not K-Tooks, then my other colleague Bubs. If not Bubs, then Conscience, and so many others. Hi, Diana Ross Archives. Thank you. And y'all know I'm a big Diana Ross fan. So thank you so much for coming in.
And you know, someone that I want to make sure you connect with, because you were speaking of directing. And it's a phenomenal director. Her name is Miosha Bean. And if you think about it, maybe go back and play this if you can remember the name, but it's Miosha Bean. And I'll try to remember to send it to you. But she does a lot of great work directing. And she just did this new series that I just listened to. It was an audio. This one was actually an audio series, but she does films and a lot of stuff. It's called Church Hurt. Oh, you're talking about a good series. It was just so good. It was like a 6-part series that's available on all the streaming platforms. But when you were talking about directing, it made me think about her. It would be just great probably for you to just align with her, at least to, check her out and reach out to her, because she is just really, really a wonderful soul and a wonderful person. And she's doing some great things in the directing world. So, it's great to see, her representing in that space. So she's doing amazing things.
And I would love to. I would love to. And that's what we got to do, is we have to network. If it's something that you are passionate about pursuing, make sure that you are aligned with the right people. Make sure that you are surrounded with people who are like-minded and have the same creative drive as you. So that's something that I would love to get into, is networking with other directors and filmmakers. I've sat with some, and as I said, I'm the type of person, I sit back and I study and I take notes.
Yeah.
And I also make observations. And if they tell me to do it their way, I'll do it their way. 100%. So I'm open and receptive to listening. And that's what makes a great creator, is that you have to be open to accept that constructive criticism where it is and where it's at. And that's a great move for you that Will brought up, sister. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I'd say to anybody, the time is now. The
That's
time
right.
is now for you to chase after whatever you want to do, whatever you pursue. Of course, Style by Stevie will be here, but I would love to tap into other parts of it as well too. I don't just want to be a one-trick pony. I want to balance all the things out, writing, directing, and producing. And I think
Well, we're
that's
not, yeah, we're not one dimensional. You know, most creative people aren't, one dimensional. You have so many different facets of life. And that's again what the clothing line was one of the reasons that I wanted to do that because music is my passion and my love. But so are so many other things, like cooking or like, designing the clothing line and stuff like that. So I think that when you are creative, it's unfortunate when you develop a following and you think of some people who are super successful and it's hard for them to transition to do some other things because their fan base wants them to remain in a certain pocket. And I always pray that people never put me in a pocket to lead me there. And that's why, I'm very intentional about, making sure that I expose other aspects of my life because I don't want to be known as singularly for one thing, because we're all complex people and complex beings and we evolve over time. And so I think that people should grow with you on that journey and that process. When you're fortunate enough to have people who appreciate, respect, and admire what you do, take them on the full journey of your life. And so, I think that's important for creators to always remember as they continue to move forward.
absolutely, absolutely. And for anybody, make sure that you are surrounded by people who uplift you in the process as well, to who encourage you. And I must say, I'm so thankful that God has put people in my life and in my corner and in my circle who just have the same creative drive as me. They see my passion, they see my desire and my consistency, and they're rooting me on. And I would encourage anybody out here today that is watching this conversation. If you have a group of people that will be there tapping you and encouraging you on your back shoulder and rooting for you. Those are the type of people that you keep in your life as well too. And
That's
anything
right.
else is an obstacle. Don't worry about the obstacles. Just focus on the ones that will help you get through to that finish line.
That's right.
And that's what I would tell you. So a lot of us, we have something that we are passionate about doing. And I say now is the time. Act now. And I know people are saying, why are you doing it so late? It's never too late to follow your dreams. It's
Never.
never too late to follow your dreams or to do what sets your soul on fire. And I know for me, I always wanted to host a platform. I've always
Hmm.
wanted to be in some realm of the aspect of fashion. And now I get to live out my dream. I get to live out my dream and make it a reality. And
Yes.
that's what I would say to anybody else as well too. Make your dreams a reality. Make them come true. You are the author, you are the editor, you are the producer, the director of your life and your life story. And that's why when I do my conversations with my guests on the platform, I let them, after I ask them the questions or whatever, they're telling their story. And I say this all the time, and I think I said it to Will in one of our conversations when my guests come on. I said, when we're in that spaceship together, we rotate that pilot seat. Yes, I'm the pilot, but when they come on, they're in that pilot seat because it's their story. I'm there to share bits and pieces of myself as well too. We're rotating back and forth. I go to the passenger side, they go to the passenger side. We go to that pilot seat together. So we're
Yeah.
rotating because we're sharing our stories and we're seeing our similarities and our parallels as well too, and what makes us different and what makes us similar in what ways. So it's like
Hmm.
compare and contrast. And then what's so crazy is the audience will start sharing their stories. We don't even ask them. They come in and they share their stories as well too. And then come to
Right.
find out the audience will connect the same way Lamonte and Will met. Just from that just from that alone, just from one of our conversations, I think I was interviewing Lamonte or he was the guest co-hosting, and Will
Right.
came in and they linked. See, just off of the strength of that, you never know who or what you could meet just from that alone. And the audience, they have such a rapport with each other. They don't even know each other. We're all following each other in some sort of way, and they are
But you got to
coming.
think about that. You really got to like not gloss over that, because when I stopped to think about this one day, and I had people who were communicating about my music, and we were having like a session online in the comments or whatever. And when it was over, I paused for a moment and I said, I just brought people together from the UK. It was like somebody from Germany, a couple of people from the US. I was like, that's a powerful moment. What people can do. And it's not me, it's just the power of the connection and being able to bring people together based on something you've done or something you're hosting or something you're doing that would have never occupied any space. Chances are those 10 people would have never been together before or after. But in that moment, you connected people from around the world. Like, that's special. I think that people don't often realize the impact that we have on life in general. And not to say that it's some amazing feat that, is, but the fact to just know that in space and time, you are able to connect people from different continents, and to bring them together for even a small period of time. That's how powerful life is. That's how powerful, gifts are. That's how powerful passions are. And, we can't lose sight of that.
And I even told Mick that. I said she couldn't really understand. She said, "Talk slow for me." I said, "Oh, sure, of course, boss lady, no problem." And she was just pouring into me. In one of the interviews that she did, she brought me to tears because she was just pouring into me. She was saying, we are thankful for you." She reached out to me to write for her publication. I said, "Me? You want this little old girl from South Carolina over here to write for your publication?" And I said, "Mick, what you did was you created a publication where you brought us all together from different
Hmm.
walks of life, different parts of the entertainment business. You have Andrea, who does the health and beauty. You have me, who does the fashion. And it's another fashion writer for the publication. You have Ellen, you have Will, you have Mike, you have Lejon. I mean, Martin, it's so many of us in the group chat.
Yeah.
And what she did was she created a gumbo. I said, "Boss lady, you created a gumbo of different cultures, different walks of life, and
Yeah.
everybody is writing about what they love doing in the publication." And that's what makes this publication so unique and dynamic. Just
Yeah.
being able to bring people together from different walks of life. And even another one of my colleagues, Alvin, tit for tat, this or that. Um, we all have our own different style of interviewing and doing content. You guys might have seen me on one of his panels. And my other colleagues, Harold, Deshaun, and Bubs, they each collectively have something different to bring to the table, Alvin himself.
Hmm.
And that's what people look forward to. It's just that camaraderie. You have to have a spice into it. And even when I did my interview with Rashida Monday, we
Hmm.
have a group chat of women because I'm in so many different group chats, and I think Will is in one as well too. And one of the group chats, one of our sister friends, shout outs to Ro Underwood, and you guys have seen her on Raising K9. We both know Ro.
Wow.
See how small the world is? We both know Ro. And they've worked
Wow.
together on projects. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know her? So just from that, I said, well, okay, we're sisters already. We're in the sister circle. And she said, from Ro, you get the big mother aspect, the motherly aspect, the big sister aspect. And that's what I was telling Rashida. And she said, I agree with you. And she said, I get that from you that you are a firecracker. You're the firecracker because every woman in the group that I'm in, because it's the sister circle group, where it's a group of black women that I created, and I just threw us all together. And two women are the firecrackers in that group, and you can guess which one is one of the firecrackers.
Well, someone said you go off. They said Miss Stevie
I
goes off.
do. I mean, I do. When I'm passionate about something, I do. I'm not like a loose cannon, but overall, I mean, um, when I'm passionate in the moment, like even yesterday, a lot of people caught yesterday's show at Now's the Time. When I'm passionate about something, it just comes out. You have to say it. And you have
Yeah.
to say what people are thinking. My mom has raised me that way. She's a Libra. I'm a Scorpio. And we are both, I've been raised by powerful, outspoken Black women. So I think that's where it comes from. But for Rashida to say that and people instantly know, they said, who's the troublemaker or who's the firecracker of the group? I would get it because I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I wasn't always
Right.
this outspoken. But hey, I mean, you have to have that spice. That's what I was saying for the original magazine, for Mix Magazine. Uh, Everybody is their own spice. You go
Yeah.
on a spice rack and you're going in there, and there's so many different spices. That's what she did with us. She created a gumbo. And even with my colleague Alvin, Tit for Tat, This or That's panel, there's the spice. You're going to have the sugar, you're going to have the sweet, and then you're going to have the sugar or sweet, and then you're going to have the spice. And
Yeah.
then you're going to have that in between, that where it's in between. So I mean, that's what it should be when you're making a gumbo. You're getting a little bit of everything that everybody loves. Like you're gonna have one person that's gonna like shrimp. You're gonna have one person that's gonna like tomatoes. You're gonna have
Yeah.
one person that's gonna like corn. So I
That's
mean, you're
right.
throwing all these things into there. And for Rashida to say that, and then other people echo the same sentiment. We believe that you were a little bit of a firecracker, in a way. But y'all know me. Y'all know my heart. I mean well. I mean well. But hey, we all have to have those type of friends in the friend group. You're gonna have the friend that's gonna be the most wildest, the most outrageous, the most adventurous, the most daring, as Will said in the beginning. And I've always been that friend. And my friend Felicia, she can vouch for that. K2 can vouch for that.
It
And
takes all
Alvin can
kind.
vouch for
It
that.
takes all kind. A
Yeah.
motley crew.
Absolutely. If not me, then Clara in our sister circle group is a firecracker as well. So I think everybody's personality uniquely is what brings them together. The sugar is her own show and channel, and the spices she goes on my channel. Well, y'all got a little bit of the sugar and spice yesterday when Now's the Time. So I mean, and I think that's what people love is that I have different facets to me. Is that, when I'm passionate about something, you see it come out. And then when I'm sincere and vulnerable in that moment, like I've done interviews where it's just like, okay, I'm sharing bits and pieces of myself with the world. And in this moment, I'm being vulnerable with this person who I've invited to come on my show and on my platform. And wow, in this moment here, this is for me to sort of reflect back on my life as I'm sharing this with the audience. And they're thinking, I'm thinking, and it's therapeutic. It's like a release once you get it out from whatever it is, whether
Hmm.
it may be the sugar or the spice. But you're going to get both here on my platform. Or if not on my platform, then you'll get it on Alvin's for certainly. So, I mean, I love switching it up. You have to be multifaceted. And not only that, but expression, freedom of expression is beautiful to be able to
Oh
express
yeah.
how you feel emotions, whether it may be in art or just through having a conversation, and people love it. So I'm glad you guys love it, the multiple facets of, if not me, then my guest. And
Yeah.
my brother K Tukes will even, I keep picking on him, he will even do it on his platform. So you'll get the sugar and the spice on his platform too, and he'll make you laugh. One thing I can say about K Toops for sure, he will make you laugh. If not him, then Bubs. Bubs is the type. I'm describing each and every one of us in the group because even with the magazine, everybody has their own personality. Lijon is also in a way a firecracker. So shout outs to Lijon. He's coming back on the show. You have Ellen. Ellen is beautiful. I call her our, I'm pretty sure Will has seen the conversations that I've had with Ellen, and I call her our Silkstone Barbie because she resembles a Silkstone Barbie. I
Hmm.
call her the Barbie doll, but she does these horror films and she loves it. I'm like, girl, how can you shoot these horror films? You're so beautiful, and you like being covered in fake blood and stuff. If you go back and check out one of the interviews with Ellen, she'll tell you that she loves it. It's a thrill for her,
Yeah.
and we each individually have our own creativity, and that's what's so unique. But Bubs, that doggone Bubs the God, I am going to tell y'all about him. Bubs will do certain things to crack me up and throw me off, like how I'm talking now, and I'm in the middle of trying to make a point. He will go and make a funny face while I'm trying to do it. I'm like, okay, Bubs, you distracted me, and I will crack up. and that happened on Alvin's panel. So
Oh,
he's
I
the
know
type of
that
person
feeling
who
too
comes
well.
from. Yes,
Takes me back to, I'm thinking about when you said that it was growing up. I just remember being in church and my best friend and my brother and I, and we just could not look at each other because we would crack up at the wrong time. And there's still environments today that I cannot be in that are too serious with certain people because if I look at them, if they look at me, it's over. So I know the dynamic that you're speaking of because it's one of those things that it just gives me. I'm just like, please don't look at me right now because if you do, this is not going to be good in this moment.
he
But
sure
it
does,
happens,
Alvin.
and they can deal with it as a teenager. But here I am not, now. I am a fully grown man. I cannot be playing those games.
And he does it intentionally to make me crack. And he's like, "Here you
Uh-huh.
go, Queen Stevie." And I'm like, "Okay, Bubs, no, please don't do this." It was one panel he showed up with the contacts in his eyes. Like, you guys know the colorful contacts they wear in horror films. And he did like this stare. There's like this, call himself trying to be seductive, like this stare, and I fell out. I posted the clip here on my page. And I was like, Alvin, he did it again on the third or fourth panel, and I said, Alvin, please get him. Me and Deshaun were both cracking up. We could not. I'll be trying to make a point, and he's looking directly in the camera at you. I was like, okay, it's hard for me to concentrate and focus. Bubs is the comic of the group. You are going to get comedy with him. There's no way you're not going to laugh. And that's very reminiscent of when I did my interview with Tommy Davidson. My mom predicted that he would break out in one of his characters from In Living Color. And as me being professional as I am, y'all know me so much. I could not maintain. I died
Hmm.
in that interview. And I even K Tooks predicted. I said, sis, what if he breaks out into one of his characters? Because he was talking about his book and his life story. And I could not. I'm like, okay, when you're working with a comic,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, you're not going to be able to keep a straight face. And Bubs is definitely that. So oh yes, yes, it was because I was trying to be I was trying to be like Barbara Walters. I was trying to be
Yeah.
all professional and stuff, and he cracked me. He corrupted me. And my mom was right. Just before I even went on, and she called me and she said, "What if he goes into one of his characters in Living Color?" And sure enough, did he do it in the interview?
Wow.
So it is so crazy how people predict things and then how they come out. So I have no
Hmm.
idea. You don't know what you're going to get with Bubs. He does that all the time. So he's going to do something crazy to kind of throw me off. And I have no choice but to laugh. You can't help it because it's just that funny. But my God, my God. Again, what will you do without the spice and again the comic in the group? You need it. You need
You
that.
need it. It's necessary. It's a necessary ingredient.
My goodness, my goodness. So, do we have any more questions for myself or Will Fashion Dolls? This is such a great conversation and catching up with you. It's always a great time catching up with you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. So, just be on the lookout. Like I said, new music is coming. The name of the next project is Erratic Heartbeats. So I am looking forward to that, to getting this new music out, and I'm excited. This is just an exciting time. There's just so much going on. It's just hectic and exciting, but I am ready to get the new project out. So don't have a date just yet, but it's coming soon.
And of course, we're going to have you back. We're going to set something up with Mick and we're going to have you back to promote it. I can't wait.
Awesome.
And Kate Tukes asked the question, what's your favorite project that you've done so far?
I love them all. I would have to say though, nothing tops the feeling that I felt when when you released that very first thing. Because it's like, I grew up looking at all these people on these album covers that I loved, from my grandmother's record collection. And I just thought that that was just a whole world away. Like, us people, we don't just you got to be somebody else to be able to do this kind of stuff. And so when I released my first full project, that was such a good feeling because it was just like, wow, I just grew up looking at Smokey Robinson and Al Green and, all Luther Vandross, so Lionel Richie, and just seeing Aretha Franklin, just seeing all those people on covers. And then to then one day have my own, it was amazing. So that nothing can top that feeling in that moment. But I do think that my favorite project musically has probably been Where Do I Begin? That because I find myself playing that one more than I play any of the others. So Where Do I Begin? But this Erratic Heartbeats is I'm excited. I think it's gonna maybe be my favorite. I don't know. I love them all. Different days. It depends what song I like the most. Um, and that's how music is in general. Even when I'm listening to other people, it's like some days certain songs hit you, and they stick with you, and that's your favorite song in that season or that period in your life. So it's really hard to define what your favorite is on any you know from an overall standard or perspective. But I really enjoy the Where Do I Begin project. If I were to tell any new listener who was just discovering me, I would probably direct them to that project first and then tell them to go back and kind of listen. That's how I would do it.
And going back and looking through your catalog, you have so many as an artist, and even for different, if you're a writer, you're going back and you're reading your pieces over. Like, uh, it's such a great feeling to be able to go back in time and like, what was
Yeah,
I thinking when I wrote this and wrote
yeah.
this as a writer, as a singer, as an artist overall. And K Tukes also asked, what is your dream collaboration?
Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys would be my dream collaboration. I've just always enjoyed her music. I've enjoyed her vocally. I just enjoy her gift. So that has always been the person that has always come first to my mind as Alicia Keys. I want to record with Eric Roberson. I would love to do some work with him. There's a whole slew of artists that I would love to work with, but I would say Alicia Keys would be my dream collaboration.
If he was still here, that would be a great collab, Nurse Chula. You said Prince and Will
Oh, Prince,
Preston?
yeah.
Ooh, that would be a great collab.
Yeah, I mean, I always said too, like Gladys Knight was always one of my favorites. I would love to
Oh, yeah.
have done something with Gladys Knight or any of those people from back in those days that were really grinding it out back then, making a way for everybody else who came. And there's so many of them are still here, but there are many who are gone. But we still have some of those legends still with us. We have Lionel Richie, who still seems to be healthy and going strong. We have Gladys, who's out there still touring. We have Patty, who's here, and Dionne Warwick is still here. So I've always been a big fan of her work. It's a lot of our stars are still around. I just believe in celebrating them for sure. While they're still here.
Yes, 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 yes. And more to come. It is so many. This next generation of music artists out here that are now producing, that are
Yeah.
writing, independent artists that are funding it, started from the ground up. And it's such a great feeling because you get to start off doing what you love
Hmm.
and to have full creative control over what you want your album to look like, what you want your songs, writing from personal experience. It's therapeutic. And it's
Yes.
such a great feeling to be able to do your heart's desires. And I would encourage any singer, songwriter, if you're doing it independently, just know that you'll be spending out. But it is so worth it because whereas if you're
That's the
signed to a
truth.
label, you will have, you have somewhat control, you have an input a little
Not
bit,
much.
but whereas if you're doing
Yeah.
independently, you have full range over
That's
what you
right.
want your album cover to look like, when you get to shoot it, what songs you want to go first, or whatever you want to perform. I mean,
Exactly.
it's even with Style by Stevie, I have full range and creative control over setting up the interviews and everything. I don't really have a team except for the women that have been there since the
Yeah.
beginning. My makeup and beauty contributor here, Melanie, my cousin Sherry, who will be coming back on the show next week. You guys have been requesting that she comes back. She is coming back because she's in a beauty competition. So shout outs to my cousin Sherry. and my mom. Those are the three women that have been with me since day one
Yeah.
for this platform. I don't need a really big team. I said I just wanted a team of women behind me.
Yeah.
And these women, even the fashions, my mom has some creative input into that. And I'm just like, okay, but I'm always having the most input, but she even has a creative input as to, yeah, it's great. And I love it because our opinions balance out perfectly. So
Yeah.
I will show her the trend and she'll see it and she'll be like, oh, okay, that's nice. That's different. And she likes different. She likes mixing different prints and patterns. So definitely she's responsible for some of the fashions I've worn here on the show.
Right.
And that dress that I wore yesterday, that was hers. So she let me borrow it. So we raid each other's closets. Yes, 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 yes. But that team is what's important to any independent artist out here. Make sure that you have a great team of people behind you as well, too, that you can
That's right.
trust. And it doesn't have to be a big team. So to anybody, if you're doing it independently, make sure you go for it all the way. Oh, yes, thank you. The color block dress yesterday, the two-tone, that was perfect for the fall too. And that was hers. So she paired it with some boots. And I was around the house. So you guys couldn't see what kind of shoes I had on yesterday, but I said, you know what, let me put on my slides. I'm right here doing Style by Stevie in the comfort of my own home. So you get to see everything else up here. And the dress was the focal point. So yeah. But any more music these days is like, wow, completely different from then to now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Completely different from then to now. And artists back then, and I can go back to an era where it's like, okay, the 80s. You had Sherelle, you had Regina Bell, you
Mm-hmm.
had Phyllis Hyman. All those were the ones that I grew up. Sade is another one, and y'all know I'm a
Yeah.
big Sade fan.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Love Deluxe album just does something to me. It makes me happy. It touches my soul. So, if not that one, then Stronger Than Pride, which is another one
Yeah.
of my favorites. So I mean, she's had so many, but artists these days, I think they're riding with the times.
Yeah. And the
Creativity, they're
great
riding
thing,
with the times. This is the
and you
older
mentioned it.
generation.
Yeah, and the thing about artists back in the day, which I really appreciated so much, is that everybody was unique. They had, like, you knew every person. Teddy Pendergrass didn't sound like Barry White,
Oh
who
yeah.
didn't sound like Lionel Richie. You know, Gladys Knight had her thing. Diana Ross had her thing. Dionne Warwick had her own lane. Aretha Franklin. They all were individual artists, and they all made it. And today it's almost like they want everybody to have the same formula and to sound the same, and they're chasing a trend. You know, I wish we could really get back to individualistic styles and sounds. And I just always made it a point for me is like I just have to be true to myself. I'm never chasing a trend and a sound and a style. You know, I want to be current and remain current and all of that, but it still has to be my thing. It still has to be me, and I'm not trying to emulate, someone else. But back then, you just had artists, and you appreciated them because of who they were, and they didn't sound like each other.
Yes, and it's okay to say another artist has influenced you because
Yeah,
even the artists that are currently out now have been influenced by somebody that has came before them. And
that's
there are
right.
so many others. If you go back and you watch their interviews, they will ask them, who was your musical inspiration growing up? And 9 times out of 10, almost every artist that I've interviewed here on this platform has been influenced by Michael Jackson in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
not Michael, then y'all know I'm a big Whitney fan.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
throughout this entire house, my mom has played Whitney Houston almost every morning, every day. So it's like a ritual for her. But even artists that I've interviewed here as well too said Whitney and Michael have been big influences to them.
I
And
think
so
Whitney's
among so
Whitney's
many
just.
others.
I think Whitney's a phenomenon in her own. She is. I mean, I think it's hard to argue that she wasn't the greatest singer this world has seen. People might argue, I don't know, but to me, it's never been a Whitney. Like that's just a phenomenon that everybody, whether you're male, female, whatever, you just have to acknowledge the greatness and the uniqueness of who she was, eh, in terms of the gift and the voice. Even if you didn't particularly care for her style of music, you'd be hard pressed to say that there's anybody who could really execute on the level that she did. You know, she's amazing.
Yes, the greatest vocalist, female vocalist of all time
Yeah,
in
yeah,
music history. There
yeah,
is no other. And there are artists nowadays that we see out here like the Jennifer Hudsons, like the who's another Christina Aguilera's, and so many others who have been influenced by Whitney, and you
yeah,
can tell it in their music. And there's
yeah,
so the next gen, like the Coco Jones, like the Scissors,
yeah,
have been
yeah.
influenced by Whitney in some sort of aspect. So it just goes to show you that there was always someone there before them, and then the next gen,
That's
they've
right.
been influenced by them, and just their style. Like Brandy, I love Brandy. You mentioned going watching Brandy and Monica on tour, going to
Yeah,
see them.
I'll be
You
there
can
Friday.
tell
I'm looking forward to that. You know, I'm in Atlanta, so this is Monica's hometown. So I'm sure the Atlanta show is going to be a great show. So there should be a wonderful night.
absolutely yes, Alvin. And you know who else said that? Kelly Ripa. She when she was talking to Candy, because Candy Burris has written for Whitney, and she said, "I don't think we'll ever be able to get over the passing of Whitney Houston, or just her music, her legacy, the way she sung the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah,
It sends chills literally down your spine. If
Candy
not
wrote
that,
Tell Me No"
voice,
was the song Candy wrote for her.
yes,
Yep.
from the Just
Hmm.
Whitney album. That's
Yep.
that's the one
Hmm.
Candy wrote. And if not that, then watching her perform in South Africa, where she had the beautiful head wrap on, and I mean, it's so many performances that she has
Yeah.
done that stand the test of time, and you can go and just be like, wow,
No, no, I
it's
mean,
amazing.
none like her. She just was. It
Mm.
just was. It just really no words to really kind of. And I often ask myself, just wonder if she ever really understood how unique her gift was. But she was definitely touched. You know, so it was. Yeah, I have no problem ever saying that she was the greatest singer ever. I don't mean to ever step on anybody's toes, but I think that objectively, people know that. You know, I think people can argue her and this person or her, but I think objectively, people know that Whitney was the true growth. In terms of voices, it just doesn't get any better than that. Doesn't get any better than that.
Literally, she could do a cappella. Like,
Yeah,
if she tells the band to stop the music, because I've seen artists do this, like, no, I don't need the music. I don't need no backup track. I don't need no vocals, nothing. I'm just going to do it a cappella. And we have seen her do this a cappella. Like, she can do it with her eyes closed. That's how
yeah,
dynamic she was. And Diana Ross has also done it at one of her concerts as well, too, where she would stop the music and sing a cappella. So these
hmm
two women are both capable. And even Whitney has given Diana her flowers and said she is one
absolutely.
of the reasons why women like me are here today,
Hmm.
if it wasn't for her.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
yeah, at her Whitney concert in '97, she did "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," and in an interview, she gave Diana Ross her flowers, and she said, "Diana Ross is the reason why women like me are here today.
Yeah,
She is the reason. She is the blueprint." So I had to do a tribute to her in the show.
that's right.
So it's out there. That performance is out there, and Monica
Yeah,
was at the concert too. Yeah, a
that was
baby
the one of
Monica.
the
She had
classic Whitney's
yeah.
at Constitution Hall in D.C. Yeah,
Yes, and Monica was there. Monica was a baby girl. She was a teen girl. She had her braces and everything. And all how Monica is singing now, she sounds the same as when she
yeah,
did it with Whitney. So I
yeah.
mean, it's just a blessing alone. It's just a
That's
blessing
right.
alone to be able to carry that instrument. And Whitney had such a tangible
Yeah,
instrument. You just could not, like
that's
Alvin
right.
said in the comments, there will never be another Whitney, just like there will never be another Celine Dion, just
Hmm.
like there will never be another Mariah Carey, just like there will never be another Phyllis Hyman. I mean, we'd be here all day. Each artist has their own style of singing. The same
That's right.
for uh Otis Redding, the same for
Hmm.
Sam Cooke. There'll never be another Sam Cooke or another James Brown. I mean,
That's right.
James Brown has also been one of the top musical influences that my guests that I've interviewed has said, because I mean, he
Yep.
just had an electrifying stage presence. He was the king, the godfather of soul,
That's right.
and earned that title perfectly. It fit him perfectly because to
Yes.
be able to dance, to be able to sing, it takes a lot out of you as an artist. You have to be able to do both, and that's why we see artists like a Michael, like a Beyonce, and like so many
Hmm.
others behind the scenes rehearsing for their performances. And you because you're going to be performing in a large crowd, and typically thousands of people
That's right.
out there worldwide coming to see you in tour, the same as they would with Brandy and Monica, and the same as they would with Janet or anybody. So it's all about stage presence, and Whitney had that, and she related to the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's right.
Can't forget the platters. Yes. You
That's right.
showed me. I remember.
The Platters, that's some good old soul right there.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all taking it way back. So it's different. Each artist had their era
Yeah.
that they were significant in. And another artist that I love, of course, is Patti LaBelle. Patti
Yeah.
LaBelle, I can remember my father telling me a story about her performing at the Apollo because my father's from New York, and she sung Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And he said that she never did it like that before. Nobody's
Wow.
ever did it. We've heard Judy Garland singing in The Wizard of Oz, but for
Right.
Patti LaBelle to do it, you literally got chills
She took it to
the
another
whole way.
level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's out there. That performance is out there. This is before Pat. What was it? After, before Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells,
Right.
or one of them.
Right.
So I mean, Patti just had that effect.
She
She
did.
took you
Yeah.
to a place the same way with Whitney, right?
Yeah. That's right.
So on that note, Fashion Dolls, do we have any more questions for Will as we're talking artistry and uh, great music, because a lot of artists have a gift and an instrument and ability to be able to write, to be able to share their craft with us. And we put on a song, and a song just takes us to a place that we've never been before. And each artist has an element. Each artist is a key element, just like with Earth, Wind, and Fire, the group itself. Each gentleman in that band has an element,
Yeah. That's right.
and they're placed perfectly there. Each group, any group, but no matter what the group is, everybody fits in. You're going to have an alto, you're going to have a soprano, but what it is everybody sings lead, and everybody, again, it goes back to that spice that we were talking about. There's different spices in the group, and not all the spices are going to be the same. Everybody is just right where they need to be. Will continue to be you, and may God continue to bless you on your journey. And that
Thank you
is
so
Will.
much, Nurse Shula. Pronounce that for me.
Yes, Nurse
Nurse.
Chula.
Thank you so much, so much. I hope you connect with me on the journey. Thank you for connecting, um, and it's wonderful. So I appreciate that. Thanks for your kindness.
Well, Fashion Dolls, last minute, last call for questions. And she says yes.
Okay, perfect.
Any more questions, Fashion Dolls, before we wrap? This is probably a 2 hour show. Yesterday was 2 hours, and this is probably another 2 hour show. But it was so worth it. It was so worth it catching up with Will here. We always have a great time. And it's more and more to come.
Absolutely. I look forward to being back. So that's the thing. We're always working on something. So there's always something to talk about. So the next time you see me, we have new music to talk about. So hey, it's always
Yes.
something. Always something.
And and Nurse Chula said she followed you, and it's a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you. I will follow back.
Fashion Dolls, last call for questions. Any questions for myself or Will? This was such a great conversation, and I'm glad you guys tuned in and enjoyed it. We talked all things music, and y'all make sure y'all go and support Will's clothing line, and make sure that y'all also stay tuned for that album coming soon.
That's right.
Stay tuned
That's
for that.
right.
So Before we let you go, Will, any gems that you would give to any artist on following their passions, chasing their dreams, what would you tell them?
Continue to be true to you. As we spoke earlier, keep that determination. Don't give up. You know, I've heard too many people say that right when they were about to give up, they had a breakthrough. You know, so just always remember that. And any passion that you have is worth fighting for. So, you know, just continue to live your best life. We're not promised tomorrow. And so let's pack it all in each day that we do have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Fashion Dolls, today's final thought comes from Trent Shelton. And he says, sometimes you have to make a decision that will break your heart, but will give peace to your soul. And that is about closing the door and moving on to the next chapter. And in life, we definitely have to move through chapters. And even as an artist, you grow as well too. For every artist, you got the debut album, and then you got your sophomore album. And I know a lot of
Mhm.
artists think about the sophomore jinx, like what is my next album going to be? It's got to be better than the first one. It's got to have the success of the first one, and it's all going to come together on God's perfect timing. I love
That's
this
right.
interview with Will Preston. I'm going to purchase his merch and wear it on my show. Look at that.
Oh, awesome. Definitely connect with me. So I appreciate that.
And that's what it's about. Make sure y'all also go and join the Will call list so you can stay in touch with Will. Make sure that you are following him, and I will have him tagged because you guys know I always tag my guests. And this will be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. Again, this was interview 899. Tomorrow is my 900th interview. Huge milestone. And then my birthday, my 32nd is Friday. So Boys Love Flowers will be joining me that Friday to kick off my Halloween birthday celebration. And no, I haven't dropped any indications. Taraji P. Henson won Halloween. She's already posted hers. And Janelle Monae on the Jennifer Hudson show today as Cat and Hat. So they already dropping theirs. I'm not dropping no indications of mine. You guys will see it Friday for my birthday. So I have no clue what Xavi is going to be when he comes on Friday. He's got his costume too. So yes, my guest will have his costume, and I'm excited. So make sure y'all tune in. And I love you all. Fashion Dolls joining me tomorrow. El Dico, she joins me. So make sure you guys tune in. We're going to be talking all things, my favorite thing, fashion. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow at 4. And it's my 900th episode. And I will see y'all then. Till next time, Fashion Dolls. Be safe.
Thank you.